All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live. We are live. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. If you're coming on, joining us live, please be sure to put in the comments what city, what state you're watching us from today. I would love to know where you're watching us from. Put in the comments what city, what state you are watching us from. Today is Saturday, March the 1st, 2025. This is the first day of March, and I'm excited and delighted to share with you a lot of life-changing, game-changing information today about becoming a HoldCo deal maker. So if you're coming on, joining us live, do me a quick favor, hit the like button, hit the share button, tag Lolly Dolly, everybody, and let them know that your boy, my squad, we are live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. And for the next 4 hours, we're going to be doing a deep dive on how to become a HoldCo deal maker. So if you're coming on, joining us, welcome to our HoldCo Deal Makers workshop. All right, I appreciate all of you for joining us. Again, put in the comments what city, what state you are watching us from. Y'all know I love to know where you're watching us from. Every city, every state that you're representing, put in the comments. Let your boy know. I want to say congratulations to all of you who secured your seat to be a part of our HoldCo Deal Makers workshop. We're going to do our best to answer as many questions as possible. So if you do have a question about holding companies, if you have a question about business entrepreneurship, it doesn't necessarily have to be a question about HoldCos, but if you have a question about anything regarding holding companies, business, systems, processes, creative tax strategies, investing, I don't mind answering any of the questions. But of course, today we really want to dial in on what our workshop is going to be about, and that is how to become a HoldCo deal maker. All right. So a few things I want to cover before we get into our first session today. The first thing I want to get into is just the congratulations to all of you who secured your seat. We had some people who took advantage of the VIP upgrade for $97, and they were able to get access to all of these components here as a result of the VIP option. For those of you that still want to take advantage and you want a digital copy, a downloadable copy of the workbook, this is one of the 5 benefits of our $97 VIP upgrade. In the description of today's video, you will see a link. So if at any time during the course of the next 4 hours, if you want a copy, a downloadable digital PDF of the workbook, all you have to do is click the link in the description and take advantage of the $97 VIP upgrade. It's going to end today. And for $97 as an upgrade, you're getting the workbook, you're getting access to our upcoming one-day mastermind. We're going to host a private mastermind. You're going to get a $97 credit for any other program that you purchase on our university. You're also going to get 6 weeks of training. We have a 6-week playbook training on how to become a HoldCo deal maker. And you're going to also get a one-on-one strategy call. So that means if you have some questions, you need some information on how to structure or restructure your HoldCo, we're going to extend a strategy call to you. So all of this is a part of the VIP upgrade that we extended all week. So the link is in the description. For those of you that did take advantage of the VIP option for $97, congratulations. We look forward to speaking with you during your strategy call and working with you for the next 6 weeks to help you close your first deal, whether it's in real estate, whether it's in a business acquisition, or just some creative deal that you structure to monetize what you know about business, relationships, or your industry. So again, for those of you that are coming on, welcome to our HoldCo Dealmakers workshop. For the next 4 hours, I'm going to be deep diving into how to become a HoldCo Dealmaker. Those who did take advantage of our upgrade, you should have access to the downloadable digital workbook. And we're going to be walking through this workbook. There are a lot of things that I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to answer as many questions as possible. So please put in the comments what city you're watching me from, what state. And if you do have a question, my team and I, we are in the chat. So we will respond to your question as quick as possible. Let me give a quick shout out to South Carolina. Matthew, thank you for being here as well. We appreciate you. Again, for those of you that are on, I am very, very serious about where we are as entrepreneurs in the marketplace. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to host our first HoldCo Dealmakers workshop of 2025. I wanted to host it on all social media platforms because whether you secured your seat, RSVP'd, or whether you just jumping on within this 4-hour window that we're live, it's important for me to find those of you that are serious about doing deals, those of you that are serious about building and engineering the right business structure so that you can become a millionaire and be successful. So again, today we are going to be covering four sessions, okay? 4 training sessions. And our first session is going to be on understanding the HoldCo Dealmaker, okay? I'm going to share with you some information about what a HoldCo Dealmaker is, how HoldCo deal making works. Our second session, we're going to be talking about the 4 pillars of mastering deal making. Okay, we're going to talk about those pillars. Our third session, we'll be talking about the 5 things that HoldCo deal making requires. And then we're going to end today's workshop with session 4 on some creative HoldCo deal maker strategies. All right. So the first lesson that I want to give you today is on page 2 of your workbook, and we describe a HoldCo deal maker as an individual who has developed a mentality, who has developed a model, and who has developed the methods for using holding companies to structure extraordinary deals. So when someone asks you, what is a HoldCo deal maker? Maybe you're asking yourself that. What am I if I'm a HoldCo deal maker? Well, what you are is an individual who has developed, or you're at least willing to develop, a certain mentality, a certain model, and a certain set of methods for using holding companies to structure extraordinary deals. Now, if you don't have a holding company, or if you have a holding company, but you don't know what to do with the holding company, you are a perfect candidate to learn about becoming a HoldCo deal maker. But it all starts with you developing these 3 things. Okay, you have to first develop the mentality. You have to develop the mentality. And so how do you develop the mentality as a HoldCo deal maker? Developing the mentality as a HoldCo deal maker is about developing the ability to think like a deal maker, to see like a deal maker, and to work like a deal maker. Okay? So the foundation of today's workshop is based on you understanding what a HoldCo deal maker is. And a HoldCo deal maker is simply someone who has developed these three things: a mentality, they've developed a model, and they have developed the methods. So again, when we say mentality, what are we referring to? You have a certain mindset. You think, you see, and you work like a deal maker. Now, all y'all know, most people who have LLCs, they do not have the mentality, the model, or the methods to think, see, and work like a deal maker. I'm going to give you an example so you can understand exactly what I'm saying. All right? So let me give you a quick example. If this person here is a business entrepreneur, okay, we're going to make this person the business entrepreneur. My spelling and writing is horrible. And then we're going to make this person over here the HoldCo deal maker. I want you to see it in real time. Remember what I said. What differentiates a HoldCo deal maker from a business entrepreneur, like most people are, is their mentality, right? So we have mentality, their business model, and their methods. So that means how they think, how they see, and how they work is different than the average entrepreneur. See, most people who have LLCs, they think like a business entrepreneur. Their mentality is, oh, let me find a product and a service to go sell. And let me, start becoming an influencer on social media so that I can go make some more money, get more attention, which all those things are important, but that's not necessarily what a HoldCo deal maker does. A HoldCo deal maker understands that, first of all, I need an entity, which is the HoldCo, which is typically an LLC. I need an entity that I can use to start accumulating assets. And once I start accumulating those assets, I want to use this entity to go out into the marketplace to find creative ways to connect with other people and other business entrepreneurs so that I can make money, not through just selling a product or a service, but I want to be able to make money through putting deals together that may help the business entrepreneur sell more products or provide a better service. But my business is not the product and the service that's being sold by the business entrepreneur. My business is actually running and leading the holding company, the HoldCo, and using it as my main product. So is everybody understanding what I'm saying? All right, let me know in the comments that you understand what I'm saying so far. Okay, let me know that you understand what I'm saying, because I'm moving along. If you're just coming on, in our workbook, I am covering page 2 on what a HoldCo deal maker is and what does it actually look like to be a HoldCo deal maker. Okay, so in page 3, we differentiate a HoldCo deal maker from a business entrepreneur. So what are some of the differences? I just showed you. They have a mentality, they have a business model, and they have certain methods that allow them to think a certain way, see business a certain way, and work their business a certain way so that they're not stuck becoming the guy or the gal who's just trying to push another product and sell another service. That's one of the biggest differentiators. All right. Everybody with me on that? So now, what are some of the other differences between the business entrepreneur and the HoldCo deal maker? What are some of the biggest differences? Page 3 of your workbook, I talk about some of the differences. One of the biggest differences between these two individuals is the HoldCo deal maker. They see business as a tool. This person over here sees business as a treasure. And this is going to be one of the biggest things that can differentiate you if you choose to become a HoldCo deal maker. All right. It's not just about you having a LLC that you call a holding company. It's about having a mentality and operating with a business model that allows you to look at a business as a tool as opposed to looking at your business as a treasure. So let me give you an example. If I have a holding company right here, HoldCo LLC, and I want to start a business to sell a product or to provide a service, what am I going to do? I'm going to set up another LLC right here, so I can go out to the market and sell that product and service. Well, what I just did was I used this business as a tool because I think like a HoldCo deal maker. Now, if I think and see business and work in business like a business entrepreneur, let me show you the difference. This person, when they get an idea to sell a product or service, they're going to set up one LLC to go out into the market to try to make money with that business. But they're going to look at this business as a treasure because that's the only business they got. This is my baby. This is my life. This is my legacy. Everything I own is tied to this business. Where this person, they don't look at this business as a treasure. They look at this business as a tool because this is their baby. Their HoldCo is their baby. All right. So one of the biggest differences between a business entrepreneur and a HoldCo deal maker is the business entrepreneur, they look at a business as a treasure. A HoldCo deal maker looks at a business as a tool. All right. So I'm moving along. I hope y'all catching what I'm throwing out today, because I'm giving y'all a whole lot of game. And again, if you have any questions, put the questions in the comments, or if you have a big takeaway or something I say that's like an aha moment, please put it in the comments so that other people can see exactly what you're getting from what I'm teaching. Okay. Space Go said, on the flow with HoldCo. All right, Reb. Thank you. He said, I'm here and I purchased the 97 Dealmaker Playbook. Congratulations to you. All right. Property Wiz Incorporated said, this is good. All right. Now, why is this differentiation so important? Why is this so important? Because most entrepreneurs, they have been programmed to believe that they've been programmed to believe that every business should be an operating business. Okay? This is what most entrepreneurs have been programmed to believe. They believe that every business is an operating business. So every time you get an idea to start a business, it needs to be an operating business. The problem with that is, what happens when you get bored with that business? What happens when you no longer want to do that business? Well, if your main business is the operating business and you get bored with it, or when it don't work, or when the market changes, or when you got too much competition, or when life happens, that means everything you have as a person in your existence is tied to this one operating business. Where a HoldCo deal maker, they are not going to stand on top of this business. They're going to insert this other LLC that we call a HoldCo. So just in case the market changes and this business is no good, they just going to pivot and they're going to start another business. And they're going to use this business as a tool, not as a treasure. This is one of the most important differentiators between the business entrepreneur and the HoldCo deal maker. All right? So let's keep it moving because I got a lot that I need to cover today and I only got 4 hours. And I'm saying I only got 4 hours because I'm used to standing and teaching 6 to 8 hours a day. All right? So some other differences between the HoldCo business and the operating business. All right? Your HoldCo business is in the business of using operating businesses to expand its business. Okay? Your HoldCo business, this business right here, HoldCo LLC, this business, okay, I'm on page 3 in our workbook. This business right here, the HoldCo LLC, is in the business of using operating businesses to expand its business. And I keep trying to explain this to entrepreneurs. Every time I talk to an entrepreneur about holding companies, here's what they want to talk to me about. They want to talk to me about this, an operating business. This is the business that sells products, or this is the business that provides services. So every time I talk to an entrepreneur, this is the LLC that they want to talk about. This is the LLC they got in their mind that's going to make them a millionaire. You might be right, but statistics show that 99% of operating businesses fail. Do y'all understand that? 9 out of 10 operating businesses that sell products and provide services will go to zero, ladies and gentlemen. So you, as a HoldCo deal maker, have to understand, let me read it again, that your HoldCo business is in the business of using operating businesses to expand its business. That's the business that you are in. You need to differentiate the HoldCo business from any other business that you have or that you're in. So I'm standing in front of you right now, right? Okay, well, I'm educating you. I got products that I'm selling you. I've got coaching programs. I'm an investor. I got a lot of different things that I sell and offer as products and services. So it's not that I don't participate in the operating business, but my participation in the operating business is only to make money, to generate revenue so that I can expand my main business. This is my main business. I need more money for my main business so that my main business can go find other assets, whether it's business or real estate or partnerships or whatever those assets are. But in order for my HoldCo business to expand, I have to use operating businesses. Whether I am directly running the operating business, which I don't want to always do, I have to sometimes, or whether I'm buying or partnering with those businesses. So all of you that are watching me who want to become a HoldCo deal maker, you got to decide which one of these businesses you want to be in. You got to make that decision. Which one of these businesses do you want to be in? Okay? So if a HoldCo business is in the business of using operating businesses to expand its business, then the question should be, what is an operating business? What is an operating business? An operating business, watch this, is an ecosystem of opportunities. That's what an operating business should be. Okay, so your operating business, no matter what it is, that means any business you own right now, that sells a product or provides a service outside of your holding company, that business, you got to condition your mind to believe that business is a tool to expand your HoldCo. That's the only reason why I'm fooling around with the operating business, okay? The operating business is a tool to expand this business. Your operating business is an ecosystem of opportunities. That's what an operating business is. So your operating business becomes the inventory for your holding company. So that means I've got to be able to look at this operating business and start identifying with assets that I can use to monetize, to make deals with, to form partnerships with. One of the exercises that I have my coaching clients going through right now is for them to look at every business activity they have going on inside or under their holding company, and for them to turn that business activity into an operating business, and for them to determine how much of that business are they willing to give up in terms of selling equity in order to bring a new partner in that can help them make more money through their operating business so that they can continue to grow that business. That's their exercise. And I want all of y'all to start doing the same thing. So your operating business is a tool. It is an ecosystem of opportunities for you to extract the best assets out of. All right. Do we have any questions so far? We're on page 3, going to page 4. And I just want to make sure everybody is understanding what I'm teaching so far about what a HoldCo deal maker is, how HoldCo deal making works, and we've already covered the difference between the HoldCo deal maker, the business entrepreneur, and HoldCo as a business and operating business. So everybody understands what we've covered so far just in the first 3 pages. Please put in the chat, talk back to your boy, let me know. Come on, I'm here in the office, in the studio, giving you game, and I'm committed to make myself available for at least the next 3.5 hours. Matthew said, wow, everything stops when you stop in an operating business. It really does. It really, really does. Okay, so we have one more lesson for session 1. And this lesson is on the 4 profiles within a business enterprise. Okay? So if you have your workbook, on page 4 of your workbook, I'm sharing with you the 4 profiles within a business enterprise, and it's very important for you to understand these 4 profiles. Mr. City Lights, his question is, do I use operating business to run the assist of my holding company and pay my holding company, then pay myself from my holding company? Yep, that's exactly what you do. So the question is, if you have your HoldCo, you got your HoldCo right here, LLC, and then you got the operating business, OP, LLC, and this business makes money, then when this business makes money, you're going to push that money up to here, and then you push that money up to you, depending on how much you need, or you push that money up to here and then you move that money into another deal to repurpose that money, which we'll talk about the repurposing of money. But generally speaking, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. So here in this session, we're talking about the 4 profiles within a business enterprise. So you have the laborer, you have the operator, you have the owner, and then you have the HoldCo deal maker. Now, one of the main reasons why I wanted to address these 4 profiles within a business is not because I don't think you understand them. I know you understand these 4 profiles, but the reason why I wanted to address them is because most of us, no matter where we are, we share the same mentality. It's not about the actions right now as much as it's about the mentality. So the operator, the laborer rather, is the individual who works for a business, right? This is somebody who works for a business. And again, it's about a mentality. This person works for the business. So this would be any employee that works for a business. But again, we all, to some extent, are laborers. I'm a laborer. I'm laboring right now. It's not like I hired somebody to come teach this, right? So even though I'm a HoldCo deal maker, I'm an investor, I'm a private equity fund manager, but guess what? I'm still laboring right now. But even though I'm laboring right now, I'm still thinking like this person. See, this is what I wanted to touch on, because some of you that are watching, if you work in a job right now and you can't stay in your job, or some of you that are operators or owners and you are running a business right now, if you adopt the mentality of a HoldCo deal maker, every job and every business opportunity is just a stepping stone for you to be able to make more money to fund this person right here. So I want you to understand that you should always be all for these people. There should never be a time that mentally you are not allowing yourself to utilize each one of these profiles to make this profile more money to do more doggone deals. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you gotta think about it like that. So this person works for the business. This person works in the business like a manager. This person's works on the business like a small business owner. And this person works above the business. So I was just telling my team this yesterday. I don't care if I am cleaning toilets. I don't care if I'm babysitting a dog. I don't care if I'm shining shoes. I don't have a problem laboring, because every dollar I labor for, in my mind, it can become $5 or $10 for this person. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? This is what so many entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, small business owners, and W-2 employees, and independent contractors, and network marketers, this is what so many people miss. They miss the opportunity because they look at, oh, I'm working 40 hours a week because this is who they think they are. When if I'm working 40 hours a week for a certain dollar amount, I'm looking at that dollar amount saying, man, I could turn this into 5 times more if I give this joker some of that money. The reason why we don't think like that is because we don't have the mentality, the knowledge, the experience, and the exposure of this person. So if you are participating in the 6-week training playbook, one of your training modules and lessons and exercises is going to be on the 4 profiles. And I really want you to do the homework exercise because I want you to talk to all 4 of these different people so that you can see how different everybody's mentality is. As a matter of fact, I want to ask all of you that are watching, I want to ask you one of the questions that we have in this exercise in our 6-week training when it comes to these profiles. Here's the question, and I want you to put the answer in the question in the chat. What was the biggest lesson you learned about money? What was the biggest lesson you learned about money? What was your biggest lesson you ever learned about money? Put it in the comments. And I want to remind all of you that are watching, if for some reason I'm moving too fast through something, I only have 4 hours to teach this entire workshop that we're using the workbook for. But if for some reason I am moving too fast through something, then I want you to take your time inside of the 6-week training, because my team and I, we're going to monitor every module you go through, because we have all the modules on a drip schedule where you can only access each one every week for the whole 6 weeks, because we want to make sure that you're learning it, you're processing it, and you're able to implement what you're learning and processing to get results. I don't want you to just buy another $97 course, because this is not even a $97 program. This offer is way more than $97, but it's helping you develop the mentality, because if enough of you go through this, some of you are going to get it and you're going to crush it. And that's the greatest satisfaction for a teacher like myself. Okay. All right. Let's see what some of the answers are. One of the biggest lessons you learned about money. A. Harmon said, money is a tool. Money is a tool. Absolutely. That's a big lesson. Money is a tool. Mr. City Lights says, save it. Save it. Okay? Now, this is a great example. This is a great example. Let's look at these individuals. Laborer. We have operator. We have owner. And then we have HoldCo deal maker. Okay? So I want to show y'all something. A. Harmon said, invest it versus save. It has to flow. Matthew said, I learned can't just hold it to yourself expecting it still to flow. Okay, so this interaction in the chat is a prime example of what I'm saying. So my question to you, Mr. City Lights, if you learned the lesson to save it, who do you think taught you that? Somebody who thinks like a laborer, an operator, an owner, or a HoldCo deal maker? See, this is where the mentality of the HoldCo deal maker is critical, because we have been programmed as children, as teenagers, as adults, our whole lives. We've been programmed, unfortunately, to believe what these people, or maybe these people, because these two groups of people right here, they probably make up 95% of America. Then you have small business owners who they might make up 4%. I might be a little off. And then you got the deal makers that might make up 1%. So who do you think is teaching you and I to save money? Which, by the way, I want y'all to see something. Your parents are probably here. Your bosses or managers are probably here. Your bankers are here. Your 401k custodians, everybody's here. So everything that you've learned about money was taught to you or perpetuated to you or indoctrinated in you by people who don't know anything about money. They don't know about money. All they know is you work 30, 40 years, you retire, and you hope you get enough money to take care of yourself. And again, most of these people who go into this category to become business owners, they bring what they learned here into here. And guess what? All they do at this point is own a job. That's all they do. Most small business owners and solopreneurs own a job. They do not own a business. They own jobs. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. I appreciate all of you participating in that exercise. So session 2, I want to talk about the four pillars of mastering deal making. Okay. So mastering deal making, Matthew said, and their children may be owners becoming deal makers looking for a way out. Exactly. So we want to talk about mastering deal making. How do you become a master at deal making? Well, there are 4 pillars to mastering deal making. If you want to become a master deal maker, and again, let me say this, you don't have to be a HoldCo owner to be a HoldCo deal maker. You don't have to own a holding company to be a HoldCo deal maker. I've got investors and partners and coaching clients that I work with right now who don't even own LLCs, but they're making more money as investors and deal makers than people who got multiple LLCs are making. Do you understand what I'm saying? So whether you have a HoldCo LLC or not, being a HoldCo deal maker is about the mentality. It's not about the entity. It's about the mentality. Now, at some point, when you pivot into the entity structure, your mentality comes with it, as opposed to you don't have that mentality and then you set up LLCs and all you do is run yourself crazy for the next 30 years, never getting anywhere. Okay? So these are the 4 pillars of mastering deal making. So the first pillar is mastering the HoldCo. Let me give you all 4 just in case you don't have the workbook in front of you. The second pillar is mastering assets. These are the 4 pillars of HoldCo deal making. The third pillar is mastering acquisitions. And then the 4th pillar is mastering the exit. So those, ladies and gentlemen, are the 4 pillars, of mastering deal making. Okay, so let me go through each one. When I say mastering the HoldCo, what I mean is, mastering the HoldCo, it involves maximizing all of the concepts and all of the principles and all of the practices that support the highest and best use of that type of vehicle, okay? That's what mastering the HoldCo is about. So there are concepts, like, for example, let me just give you an example. When I have an idea to create a product or to provide a service, because I have mastered the HoldCo, at least I think I have, in terms of concepts and principles and practices, before I start selling the actual product, I look at this idea of the product through the lens of a HoldCo deal maker. And I ask myself the question, do I even need to create this product and go sell it just because I have the idea for it? Do y'all understand what I'm saying? So the first thing that I do as a master HoldCo deal maker, when I get an idea about a product or an idea about a service or an idea about something that I think can make money, I don't do what someone who's not a master at the HoldCo would do. Because someone else would take the idea and they would want to go out and try to create the product or to build the platform or to work on the technology. It's almost like if I have an idea to move and to relocate my family personal residence, I'm probably not going to first go build a house because number one, I don't know how to build a house, right? So I'm most likely going to look at houses that are already built. But then I'm not going to just look at a house that's already built. I might look at distressed houses that have the potential to be renovated the way I want it. And maybe I'll go deeper and say, wow, who is motivated to sell a distressed property? So you see how many layers I'm looking at instead of saying, oh, I have an idea to move me and my family. Let me go find a hammer and start building me a house. So when you master the HoldCo, you're mastering the concept to be able to ask the right questions before you start building your own doggone house. Why should you go get hammers and nails and I got my little measuring tape over here. So I have an idea to go move. I want to go move my family. Do you think I'm finna go? This is what I'm finna start doing. I'm not going to do this. Okay, I'm not going to work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my idea to move and I'm going to look at opportunities that don't require me building the house. That's how you have to look at business. Man, I hope y'all are hearing what I'm saying. I'm giving y'all millions of dollars worth of game for a free workshop today. Phew, that's powerful. So mastering the HoldCo involves maximizing all concepts, all principles, and all practices that support the highest and best use of the wealth building vehicle of a HoldCo. So as I said, if I have an idea to relocate my family into a new house, if I have the idea, I'm not going to go buy products to build a house. I'm not going to go get my license to become a builder. I'm not doing that. I'm going to look at the kind of house that I want, and then I'm going to determine, is there already a house built where I want it with some of the things I want? Okay. Is it a house that's on the market with an agent, or is it an off-market house? Is it a regular for sale by owner, or is it a pre-foreclosure distress situation? Do I have to get a new loan, or can I buy it subject to? So all of a sudden, I'm going to create all these layers that are all opportunities for my idea so that I can purchase the home without having to create all this other stuff. I don't need this stuff. I go from idea to execution because of how I think about getting this, how I see myself getting it, and the work I'm willing to put in to get it. And it's not going to include any of the traditional or conventional ways to accomplish that. So mastering the HoldCo is about the concepts and the principles that you put to practice, okay? Mastering assets involves identifying with the most valuable assets, accumulating those assets, and then integrating them into the ecosystem of your HoldCo to optimize cash flow and enterprise value. Now that's a heavy statement. So let me see if I can break this down a little bit for some of y'all, because I know that might have lost you. What do I mean when I say mastering assets? Here's what I mean. What I mean is you have your HoldCo, and then you are going to involve your HoldCo in identifying with valuable assets. So now you're looking for assets. So you're going to go out and you're going to look for assets. So what are some examples of some assets? Well, even if you don't have a LLC, maybe as an individual, one of your assets is a bank account. It's a savings account. You got money sitting aside. Maybe it's a 401k that's just sitting there getting you about 5% a year. These are two assets that if you use them as a HoldCo deal maker, you could accumulate them. Okay, we're on page 5 of our workbook. You can accumulate them after identifying with them, and then you can integrate them into a deal that starts making you more money with the same assets somebody else is controlling, because the bank is controlling that asset and your custodian is controlling that. And they're making the bigger profits, giving you 4 to 5%. Or maybe you have a piece of real estate, or maybe you have some intellectual property, or maybe you have something that could be trademarked or licensed. So there's so many assets, which, by the way, if you have access to this 6-week training, at the bottom of this training, we have about 30 different assets that we give you free access to so that you can start familiarizing yourself with the things that would be considered an asset. All right? Anybody have any question on that so far? I've covered 2 of the 4 pillars of mastering deal making. Okay? I told y'all I'm getting through this. So the third pillar is mastering acquisitions. Mastering acquisitions involves repositioning and repurposing all your cash flow, all your equity, and all your assets inside and outside of your HoldCo. Man, this is some good stuff. I'm getting excited about this all over again. So let me explain to you what I mean by this. If you have, let me see if I can make all these make sense in one big bold statement. So let's say, for example, you have mastered the HoldCo. Let's just say you've mastered the HoldCo. So now everything you want to do in your life, you look at it through the lens of a HoldCo deal maker to figure out who has already done this, who has what I need to do this, and how can I structure a deal to get it done like other people have gotten it done. So you start thinking like a HoldCo deal maker. Then, if you've mastered the assets, you start looking at everything that's at your disposal. What do I have access to now that's valuable enough to give me some leverage to start putting the pieces of this deal together, right? Then, once you start putting the pieces together, mastering acquisitions is about figuring out what do I need to give up that I have in exchange to something else someone else has. See, a lot of people will never do that because they don't want to give up what they got. I keep telling business owners this. If you got a HoldCo and you got assets in your HoldCo, and some of your assets are business assets, you have to be willing to give up some equity maybe. That's why one of the things is equity. Again, mastering acquisitions involves repositioning and repurposing all cash flow, all equity and all assets inside and outside your HoldCo's ecosystem. So that means I'm not finna let the bank hold my money for the next 20 years when I can leverage my money to make things happen for my family. I'm not gonna let a retirement account custodian control my money for 30 years. I'm not gonna let a business that makes money imprison me to the point that I'm not willing to give up a portion of that business to partner with somebody who can triple the value of my business just through a partnership. It's stupid. I'm just going to be 100 with y'all. It's stupid for us not to do it. It's stupid for us not to do it. And the reason why I can be as bold and brash to say that is because some of the best deals I have ever done in my 22-year tenure as a full-time entrepreneur, some of the best deals that me and my wife have done, guess how much equity ownership we got out of the deal? This how much. We didn't need it though, because while everybody wanted to own the business, we just wanted to own some of that revenue. And we always got drips from every deal that we did, even when other people who owned the businesses wasn't making no money. We've had partnerships with people just from handshakes who owned everything, but we controlled everything and we made more money than the people who owned it. You know why? Because we were not fighting for the stuff that we didn't value. I valued my freedom more than I did equity in a business. Especially a business that wasn't doing nothing. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? And so the next pillar of HoldCo deal making is mastering the exit. And you have to master, y'all. I'm telling you, this is why I'm going through this at a pace today. But if you really want to soak this in and allow that switch to flip in your mind to become a HoldCo deal maker, I'm selling you this $97 VIP upgrade because after today's workshop, this is not going to be available. It's too valuable. I'm giving you 6 weeks of training so you could take time and really build a muscle to become a HoldCo deal maker. If you just learn how to master the concept of the holding company, how to master taking assets, identifying with them, accumulating them, and integrating them into deal structures. And then if you learn to master acquisitions, especially if you're willing to sell portions of the things that you feel like are valuable to get more partners, to get more leverage, to get further up the road. And then if you master the exit, oh my God. Oh my God. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, that's a good question. So Mr. City Lights just asked the question, how to use my bank account as an asset to my holding company? Okay, let me give an example. I can give you a personal example of what I used to do. And I still do it today. I don't value any of this stuff. I use it. It's all a tool for me. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't value any of the stuff I'm talking about as much as I value my freedom to be with my wife and my children and my family and help my church. All those things are way more important to me than owning equity in a business or holding on to money in a bank account. I'm being 100 with y'all, okay? Excuse me. So let me answer the question. How do you use your bank account as an asset? I'll give you a couple examples, okay? So if I have a holding company, if I have a HoldCo, and then I have over here in my personal life a bank account. That has money in it. If I have an opportunity to do a deal as an individual, let's say as an individual, I have an opportunity to do a deal and I got money sitting in my bank account. I would give my HoldCo that money as an owner's investment. I would make an owner's investment. And I have one of the best tax strategies, I think, here in Atlanta, tax strategists that I've worked with for years. So when I say stuff, I'm not a tax strategist, but my good friend is, and we work very closely. So I'm just showing you, if my bank account got money and my HoldCo has an opportunity to do a deal, I'll put that money in my HoldCo as an owner's investment, meaning that once my HoldCo uses that money to create new money, when I get my money back, I don't have to pay taxes on it up to the dollar amount that I gave as an owner's investment. So if I have 50 grand sitting in my bank account, how much is the bank paying you? The bank might be paying you 5% if it's in a money market account. That's it. If it's in a regular savings or checkings account, it's 0.025 probably, or maybe 3% or 3.5%. Like, you ain't getting no more than that. I'm not talking to you. I'm just talking to everybody in general. If you have money sitting in a bank account, you ain't getting no more than 5%. I know people who have had money before they talk to me in CDs, and they might have been getting like 5% on an annual basis. So I'll take that money as an owner's investment and put it in the HoldCo. Now, your next question is, where am I going to put this money? This is why you want to become a deal maker. This is why you want to get around people who generate deal flow. Because when you're around people who generate deal flow and you become a deal maker, you can find the right deal to put that money in so that money can work for you above 5%. Now, of course, if you put that money in an investment, you want to securitize that investment. So if it's in a piece of real estate, it's probably going to be securitized with a deed of trust, with a promissory note. If it's in a business entity, it's going to be securitized with a UCC lien and a promissory note. If it's in a company like ours, RP Capital, as a private equity firm, it's going to be in an investment vehicle that is regulated by the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. No different than what the bank is being regulated by if they use your money for certain investment vehicles. But that's how you take that money and you say, you know what? I could probably do better than 5% if I just start looking for the best deals. They out there. They everywhere. But a lot of people just don't do the work, and they just trust this person because this person has sold us a bunch of baloney and told us it was filet mignon. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. They have sold us so good on their products that we believe in them more than we believe in ourselves. We believe in them more than we believe in ourselves. And that's a big problem. All right. So how's everybody doing so far? How's everybody doing so far? We are 1 hour in to this 4-hour workshop. We've already covered 3 or 4 really big lessons. And hopefully you all are learning something from me. Okay? So another lesson we have in our workbook is on the 5 characteristics of a HoldCo deal maker. I'm not even going to go through these 5 because I don't think they are as valuable as the next lesson I want to get to. But for those of you that have the HoldCo Dealmakers 6-week training, you will be able to deep dive into these 5. Okay, these are 5 characteristics of a HoldCo deal maker. About to buy property for Airbnb, and I'm setting up to buy it through my holding company. Thanks to your videos. That's good. Congratulations to you. Yep. Make sure you, if you're buying it through your HoldCo needs to have a special purpose vehicle, a separate LLC just for that property. So you don't want the property to be owned by the HoldCo. You want the property to be owned by the special purpose vehicle LLC or subsidiary that's owned by the HoldCo, if that makes sense. Okay, do we have any other questions? Anybody have any questions before we get to the top 10 places to find the best deals? This is the last lesson for session 2, and I want to get right to it. The top 10 places to find the best deals. Do we have any questions? Top 10 places to find the best deals. Hopefully I'll be able to write all of them down on the board. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, I got a couple notifications when during my last lesson, and I want to just congratulate all of you who took advantage of the VIP upgrade. It's only for $97. After today's workshop, we're going to take that offer down. Our HoldCo Dealmakers training is really a private training that we've been doing with our investors who work with us in our private equity firm. And we've been doing this training with our coaching clients. And these people have either invested and or paid tens of thousands of dollars to work with our private equity firm. And so we decided to open this workshop up to the general public because I want to do business with more people. I want to find that business owner or that individual who wants to learn the ins and outs of these high-level, sophisticated strategies and who may be looking for someone that they can trust, like myself, to align with. A lot of times you don't know who to trust on social media, because everybody's an influencer today. Everybody claim to be a millionaire today. Everybody claim to be successful, and you don't really know who to trust. And so for me, as a preacherpreneur, it is important that I continue to position myself in a way that I can attract and find and align the right people with what we're doing, especially as a black man of faith. I'm looking for people who are looking for that type of leader and educator to align themselves with. And so that's one of the reasons why I make myself so available. And I do my best to give as much value like today's workshop, because I really genuinely want to find people who want to do business with me. So again, thank you for all of you who took advantage of our VIP upgrade. It's only $97. If you didn't hear me when I talked about it earlier, you're getting a digital downloadable copy of the workbook. You're getting a free ticket to an upcoming private mastermind that we're going to hold. During this mastermind, I'm really going to do some deep diving and underwriting to show you how do you underwrite a deal? How do you underwrite an asset that could bring value to you? How do you underwrite an opportunity to put a deal together? I want to show you some of the techniques that we use during that mastermind. You're also, all of you that bought the $97 VIP upgrade, you have a $97 credit, meaning that if you want to move up and join our coaching program, the 1-year coaching program, we're going to give you that $97 credit. And you also get the 6-week training. So for the next 6 weeks, you can deep dive into all these. And there are some things in the training that I don't even have in the workshop because I don't have enough time to talk about it. You also get a free strategy call. So we can jump on a call. You can ask questions. Maybe you need some help putting the pieces of the puzzle of your business together. And you're going to get 6 weeks of client support. My team is dedicated. If any of you know my team, you know They always reach out to you. They answer your calls, your texts, your emails, whatever help and assistance you need. My team is going to provide that for you. So again, if you want to take advantage of the VIP option for $97, you better do it before this workshop is over, because once I leave the studio, we're going to shut that offer down and it won't be no more $97. Most likely it'll move up to $497, or it might not even be available because that program is a private program for our investors and our coaching clients. Okay, so let's get into the top 10 places to find the best deals. This is really fun to get through, all 10. All right, let's talk about it. Top 10 places to find the best deals. Let me give them to you. Your current assets, that's one. Your current business, that's two. Your current expenses, that's three. Your current interest, that's four. Personal relationships, that's five. I'm giving y'all some game today. Social media, 6. Professional relationships is 7. Business networks, number 8. Business brokers or real estate or asset, whatever type of asset it is, brokers. 9, and then 10, we have online communities, which is different than social media. So those are the 10. Those are the 10. Those are well, my top 10. I mean, there are countless places you can find deals, but I'm giving you the top 10 places I personally think you can find the best deals. All right? So I'm going to go through all 10 of these. And if you have any questions about them, just put the questions in the comments, because this is the last lesson before we get into session 3. We have 4 sessions that we want to cover. I might get through them before 4 hours, but I'm still going to make sure that I answer any questions and make myself available as long as I can today, okay? So my top 10 places to find the best deals. Number 1, your current assets. Your current assets. What do I mean by your current assets? What I mean is you should take a look at every asset you own, whether you have a company or not, even as an individual, and you should determine how you can use them to create strategic deal opportunities. I cannot stress this enough. Even if you don't have a LLC, if you're not a business owner, you still have assets. So as an individual, what are some of the current assets that you might have? It could be a bank account. It could be a savings account. It could be a 401k retirement account. It could be a line of credit. It could be a credit card or a couple credit cards that you can use. All of these are things that you can connect to deal opportunities. Now, of course, there are some safeguards you want to take, right? You want to make sure that you take the right safeguard. So you don't want to just be giving people your money, but if you need some advice, some direction, some wisdom, my team and I, we're available. Our private equity firm, RP Capital, that's what we do. We work with individuals and business owners to help them make more money with the money that they have, to create opportunities. And we're doing it. So it's not something I'm talking about hypothetically. I'm doing it already. I have people who are individual W-2 employees that work with us in our private equity firm. I have people who are solopreneurs, small business owners, ministers, pastors across the spectrum who invest money in deals, who make a return on their money, and their money is secure. So I know what I'm talking about, okay? So if you're individual, you just need to start looking at what assets do you have? And with these assets, are you happy with the return you're getting on your assets? Because again, a lot of people have been programmed. We're just programmed to believe, oh, just give it to the bank. I can't tell you how many people I sit down with, and the first thing they want to tell me is, oh, well, I got my money with Marcus and with Goldman Sachs, Marcus, with Charles Schwab. I got my money with a CD at the credit union. So, okay, good. But you're still limited in your returns. And then my next question to them is, how much money are you making in interest payments or as a return on an annual basis? I've had people literally to pull it up on their phone and say, oh, I'm making 4.8%. Are you happy with 4.8? Are you good with that? Is that going to give you the freedom you're looking for? Nope. Well, guess what? You got to elevate your game. You got to start looking into other vehicles. Of course, you need to take precaution. You need to trust people, all those things, but you still got to start at go. Like, I can't stay stuck here and think somehow this is going to change. If you are a small business owner, let's say you don't got no credit. You ain't got no money. You ain't got credit cards. You ain't got no bank account, but you got some good ideas. You're a hustler. You're a grinder. You have an operating business. Well, your current asset may be your operating business. Are you willing to give up 50% of that to bring in somebody to be able to help fund that and finance that? You'd be surprised at how many people are not willing to do that. And they're willing to stay broke and struggle. It is what it is. Okay? We got a question. Could some assets be school equipment? Yes. Film school sent $20,000 worth of studio audio equipment, but how to use them in deal making or sell license them to HoldCo? Well, just give you an example. If you have $20,000 worth of studio audio equipment, that equipment could be in a entity. You can put that equipment in a LLC. That LLC can literally be a production studio company. And maybe you can find a partner who might have some deal flow, some clients, some activity going on. And you might say, hey, let's go 50-50 on this LLC and we split all the profits. I bring the equipment. You bring $20,000 worth of marketing and maybe some extra cash flow to pay for some expenses, to get us some ads to run and to get in front of some people, and let's build it together. That's how I would do it. And you see what I just did? I just created an entity. I put assets in that entity, and I'm willing to give half of that entity up to the right person or to the right 2 or 3 people. And say everybody gets 25%. I'd rather own 25% of a business with 3 other people with my $20,000 worth of equipment, and they bring in $20,000 worth of value. However, I'd rather own that. At least I got 4 times of a better shot to do something. You understand what I'm saying? That's how a HoldCo deal maker has to think. Okay, so your current assets is one of the top 10 places to find a deal because you own the asset. You control it. Like there is nothing I own and control personally that I'm not willing to give up. My watch, my car, I'm willing to give all of it up for the next opportunity. You understand what I'm saying? And I have done that. So I'm so into it because I've done it already. Guess what? If you take something to the pawn shop, you just exit it a asset because you took it to the pawn shop. DL in the comments said, sell it to me. See, you got somebody who doing a deal in the comments. He say, sell it to me, dog. I'll take it. So that's one of the top 10 places to find the best deals. I'm telling you, if you got, like there was a time, all I had was credit. I didn't have a lot of money, no money really, to be honest with you. I didn't have a lot of revenue. I didn't have money sitting in the bank, and I didn't have revenue coming in the bank, but I had skill and I had credit, right? So there was a time I had to leverage my credit to provide my business with opportunities to make revenue so that in turn I pay off the credit, make a little cushion, and recycle the money. So think about it. And even if you're not a business owner, if you're an individual, it's crazy to have money sitting in the bank and credit and all these assets, and you're not willing to figure out, how can I take this asset and utilize it to double my money or to triple or quadruple my money? Why shouldn't I do that? It's crazy because we're programmed to believe that we shouldn't. Banks have convinced us. Custodians have convinced us. Big institutions have convinced us. Mama them convinced us. My wife was just telling me about somebody who said that they had been brought up believing a certain thing about business and entrepreneurship. And I'm like, respectfully, so? Yeah, and that's why they're not rich. That's why they're not wealthy. That's why they're still waking up every day, grinding and hustling, because they're not willing to let go of a false belief that has kept them stuck their whole entire life and their families' lives. It's crazy. The second place is your current business. Your current business. How can your current business be a place to find the best deals? Again, look into every business you currently own and determine how you can use a portion of it or all of it to create strategic deal opportunities. It's crazy. Like my private equity firm right now, we have a funding division where we issue short-term loans. We have a partnership division where we actually form strategic partnerships with entrepreneurs, and people still overlooked the opportunity to do business with us, because in order to do business with me, you got to give up something that you got right now. You doggone right, you got to give up something, because I worked hard to get what I got. So if I'm bringing you in as a partner, I live at a high standard for my company and for any company that's in my ecosystem. But think about it. At least I could get further up the road. So you want to look at everything your business has, everything your business does. Okay. And again, all of you, because I see some of the notifications coming in. So congratulations to all of you that have taken advantage of that $97 VIP option. It will end when this workshop ends. You're not going to get that again for $97 because I'm just giving it away. I'm giving away a 6-week training of this type of information. I'm giving away a free one-on-one strategy call, a free ticket to an upcoming private mastermind, $97 credit if you want to move up to another product, and you get the workbook. And you get client support for 6 weeks. Like, come on, $97? And I'm giving it back to you if you purchase another program. So you have your current business. Number 3, your current expenses. I'm going to tell y'all something. This is like, this here, ooh, this one here is cold-blooded. Your current expenses. That's one of the top 10 places to find the best deals. how can I find a deal in my current expenses? Here's how. You take a look at your current expenses and see if there's an opportunity for you to either create a revenue share, a partnership, or a full acquisition. That's how you do it. You want me to give you an example of what I mean? Okay, let me give you an example. Right now, under our HoldCo business ecosystem, we probably have 11 businesses. I think we close to 15 different business operations, right? And every one of these 15 business operations, they have insurance needs, okay? So one of the businesses that we are looking to either acquire, partner with, or form a revenue share agreement with is what? An insurance company. Why? Why do we want to form a partnership or acquire or a revenue share agreement with an insurance company? You know why? Because we have at least 15 businesses that need insurance. We have all kind of insurance. We have millions and millions of dollars of insurance throughout our organization. We have insurance for everything. We have insurance for what we say. We have insurance for equipment, for our intellectual property, for our websites, for our vehicles, for ourselves. We have insurance for everything. And we spend a lot of money every month on insurance for 15 different operations. So I look at my current expenses and say, wow, I could find a deal, because if I'm going to pay for this anyway, I might as well pay it to a company that I buy, partner with, or have a rev share agreement with, so that every time I pay all these insurance bills, I get a drip and somebody else who already has an existing business gets a drip and make more money. That's deal making. That's just the way it is. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, number 4, your current interest. That's another place to find the best deals. What do you mean? Well, take a look at where you do your shopping. Take a look at where you travel, where you eat at. You should also look into what you regularly do for sports, for hobbies, for health, and other recreational activities. Like one of the businesses that I really wanted to start years ago and I never did it. And then I tried to do a partnership with someone and it didn't work out, but I'm coming back around this year to doing it again, is a health and wellness business, because I love supplements and vitamins, and I'm definitely big on health and wellness. And I believe that our community can do better. And I'm a leader and influencer in my community. And I want to have a health and wellness store. I want to have a physical store. At one point, as I said, I was building one when we had our headquarters on the other side of town. And when we relocated, I put it on pause, tried to do a partnership with someone that didn't materialize. And just recently, coming into 2025, I put it back on my agenda to do that. So again, I'm looking at my current interests. Okay, I spend a lot of money every month on vitamins, on supplements. I could have some great relationships with companies. We could even create our own vitamins and supplements. And I want to offer certain things, but again, I don't necessarily have to build it. At one point, I thought I had to build it, and I realized that, I don't have to build it. But when I tried to do a partnership, that didn't work. But it doesn't mean it don't work. It just means I got to keep looking and keep digging. Number 5, your personal relationships. So when I say your personal relationships, what I mean is you need to be letting everybody know about your desire to invest and to do deals. You should be letting everybody know that. I'm an investor. I buy real estate. I buy businesses. I'm a deal maker. I got a private equity firm. I work with investors to make them double-digit returns. I tell everybody what I do. And that's how you start creating opportunities, okay? Number 6, social media platforms, okay? So you should regularly post content about what kind of deals you're looking for as a HoldCo deal maker. This should include some kind of link so that people can click a link and participate in a call to action. They call it a CTA. There needs to be a call to action, okay? Your professional relationships. So when I say professional relationships, I'm talking about business colleagues. If you're a business owner, it could be your customers. It could be professional service providers, people who provide you services like lawyers and doctors and CPAs and everybody else. This should also include anyone who provides any service to you on a personal level, on a professional level, on a financial level. You should be telling everybody about what you're looking at doing. Okay? Number 8, your business networks. So business networks, I'm talking about going to networking events, connecting with influencers, entrepreneurs, coaches, organizations, and networking groups. Like, don't tell me you're an introvert. Who cares? Because if you're an introvert and you're broke, you don't need to be an introvert. It's just simple as that. I don't know no better way to say it. If you're an introvert and you broke, you don't need to be a broke introvert. That's horrible. Those two things shouldn't even go together. Broke and introvert don't even sound right. Okay? You cannot be an introvert and broke at the same time. Now, get rich and then become an introvert. But don't be an introvert broke, because it's a horrible look. Because what you're saying is, I'm so broke, I'm not even willing to talk to people about getting better. And then you start defending broke, okay? Number 9, business, real estate, asset brokers. Anybody that is a professional broker on any level, that could be one of the 10 places to find the best deals. Now, it's not one of my favorites, whether it's a business or real estate. I don't really care to deal with brokers because I like off-market deals. I like to generate leads that don't have middlemen. I want to deal directly with the owner, with the seller, with the person who's got the problem, because I can add more value to them outside of a 1%, 2%, 3% commission. I'm just saying. So I want to, as a buyer, as a deal maker, I want to connect with the person who needs what I have, okay? And number 10, online communities. So you can join certain online communities that support and or promote strategic collaborations or partnerships. So I'm not talking about your own social media page. I'm talking about online communities where you ain't even got to go nowhere. There are online communities. There are like blog communities, vlog communities. There are certain podcasts that you can sign up for their mailing list. Like, you should be on everybody's email list. I know I'm on people's email. I get emails every day about stuff. And I don't care about the email until I do. And then once I do, I go back to my search to find that last email they sent me about the thing I'm now concerned about. How many of y'all do that? Okay, so we have just covered the first 2 sessions of this 4-hour workshop. Can anybody take a moment and put in the comments, what is your biggest takeaway so far after 2 sessions? What is your biggest takeaway? What is your biggest takeaway? I would love to know. Put in the comments. Let me know what your biggest takeaway is. Man, how many topics have we covered so far? Let me see. We've covered quite a few. What a HoldCo deal maker is. We talked about reconditioning your mind as a HoldCo deal maker, the difference between a HoldCo deal maker and business entrepreneur, the difference between a HoldCo business and an operating business. We covered the 4 profiles within a business enterprise. We covered the 4 pillars of mastering deal making. We skipped the 5 characteristics of a HoldCo deal maker. And then we just finished covering the top 10 places to find the best deals. What was your biggest takeaway so far in the first 2 sessions? We got 2 more sessions to go. Shout out to everyone. I'm getting my notifications, so I want to say thank you to all of you that took advantage of the $97 VIP option. Thank you. Congratulations to you. And my team and I, we look forward to working with you for the next 6 weeks. For those of you that need more than just 6 weeks of coaching, for those of you that need more than just 6 weeks of training, in the description, you will see a link to the Millionaire Blueprint. That's our signature coaching and training program. And guess what? It ain't for 6 weeks. It's for 1 year. We host coaching calls every Monday. We host regular meetups and workshops. You have hundreds of training lessons, not just one. And you have an amazing community of entrepreneurs who are building and engineering $1 million enterprises. So again, for those of you that need more than just the 6 weeks, we would love for you to join our Millionaire Blueprint coaching program if you want to engineer a $1 million company. It's more than just a holding company in the coaching program. We talk about systems, processes, creative tax strategies, real estate investing creatively. We teach you how to integrate systems and processes for your business. We teach you financial literacy. That coaching program is definitely top 5 in the market today, if not number 1. I know this to be sure. Okay. All right. Here are some of the takeaways so far. Partnerships and the need for them. 100%. That's a great takeaway. Partnerships and the need for them. Another big takeaway, think like a deal maker. That's right. Think like every opportunity, you should be thinking like that. Great takeaway. Another great takeaway. Let's see here. A. Harmon says, shout out to you, Coach. This is an excellent session. Thank you so much. James, the revelation that I don't have to build the business, to do the business is awesome. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Space Ghost, tell them folks to give back my money out that 401k. They parlaying it. The 401k is one of the biggest games that the system has played on everyday people. And they trust the 401k like it's Yahweh. Bars. They trust the 401k like it's Yahweh. And it ain't Yahweh. Ain't nowhere close to Yahweh. Matthew said, I want to partner with Piano Coach to start record label for HoldCo. How to approach him with specifics of what will be offered and needed from him. I think you just need to start with, you're looking for a partner as a piano coach, and then just put a whole list of all the things you as a partner will offer a piano coach as a partner, and how you can make what they do as a coach better. And I would try to have some metrics or numbers with that. For example, as a piano coach, I believe I can help you as a partner bring on 20 new clients this year. Each client could be an average of $1,000 or two. That would be $20,000 to $40,000 that we could add to what you do. I would put numbers with it, and then I would lead with that. And then you can share your expectations once you start having that conversation with enough potential partners who are piano coaches. All right, so let's get into our next session, session 3. Session 3 is on 5 things HoldCo deal making requires. Now, I'm going to tell y'all right now, let me give y'all a heads up right now. Some of this stuff that I talk about here moving forward goes into like a deeper level, and it might go over your head. You might have to circle back around and rewatch this and deep dive into the playbook and start putting questions together that we can ask when we host our mastermind, okay? Because in order for you to really understand the requirements of a HoldCo deal maker, you really have to flip that switch in your mind, okay? So I'm just kind of giving you a heads up. Number 1, the first thing it requires is a vision. Now, I'll also admit, since I'm telling everything, I'll also admit some of the things that I'm sharing with you in this segment of session 3 are things that I have learned and pulled from other successful HoldCo deal makers, from other successful business owners, from other successful investors. No man is an island in and of itself, okay? So I try my best not to plagiarize other people, whether I'm preaching in the pulpit or preaching in the business pulpit. I try my best not to plagiarize, meaning that I don't want to take somebody's stuff verbatim, but I'm telling you right now, I'll pull it, I'll use it. One of my mentors that I'm still being mentored in his coaching program, I still use his stuff, and he is one of the type of people that says, hey, you can use my stuff, and even if you don't mention me, still use it. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Some of this stuff is an extraction of high level data that I've used from other successful people. Okay. So 5 things HoldCo deal making requires. Number 1, it requires a vision. It requires a vision. Let me put them all. Number 2, it requires an objective. Number 3, it requires a growth philosophy. Number 4, it requires creative problem solving. And number 5, it requires probably the most, oh my God, I can't even say the most important. Financial engineering. This stuff here that I'm sharing with you right now is stuff that we really need that mastermind. That's why I added a mastermind to that offer, because I realized that some of this information is so in depth that you just can't learn it all in one session or one course. You just really need to go deep enough to understand it at a high level. So these are the 5 things that HoldCo deal making requires: a vision, an objective, a growth philosophy, creative problem solving, and financial engineering. So let's look at vision. Why does HoldCo deal making require vision? Because vision is your ability to see your future wealth and the pathway to get there. Vision is your ability to see your future wealth and the pathway to get there. So see, this is one of the biggest problems I had when I first started my financial freedom journey. One of the biggest problems I had was I wanted financial freedom, right? But I'm right here. And I did not have a clear vision. Meaning that, according to page 10, we're on page 10 of our workbook, I did not have the ability to see my future wealth and to see the pathway to get to my future wealth. In other words, I really didn't know what was the vehicle I needed to use to get from broke to blessed. Like, I didn't know what the vehicle was. So even when I fantasized about living this life and prayed about living this life and dreamed about living this life, I still did not have a vision, in the sense that a vision was my ability to not just see my future wealth, but to also see the pathway to get there, or to know exactly what vehicle I could use. So guess what happened? I tried a job. I tried entrepreneurship. I tried the small business, only to realize that all of these were tools, but they were not necessarily the best vehicles to get me over here. So I really needed a vehicle. I needed a vehicle. This is the essence of the HoldCo. It's a vehicle. It's not an operating business. It's not another job. It's not another form of entrepreneurship. It's not a small business. It is a wealth building vehicle that gives you the ability, the vision to see your future, because you can use this vehicle to accumulate a lot of wealth. I hope everybody understands that. Okay? Vision also includes your ability to mathematically quantify your metrics and milestones along the way. So when you have the right vehicle, you can easily stop at any juncture and see what's working, what's not working, where you need to pivot to keep working, because you're not just focusing on a job or some hustle or some small business operation. You're focusing on moving this vehicle closer and closer. And these are all tools to keep the wheels rolling. Okay? So here's a call to action. Page 10 of your workbook for the first thing HoldCo deal making requires. The call to action is this: you must prioritize enterprise value, net worth, long-term cash flow, equity ownership, and other high-level assets and activities that support wealth building. Those are the things that you need to prioritize in order to support vision. Okay, if your vision gives you the ability to see wealth, see the pathway, and use a vehicle like a HoldCo, if that's what vision is, then you got to prioritize certain things within that. You need to feed that HoldCo. One of my mentors say you got to feed the beast. So whatever the vehicle is that you develop or you build and engineer that you realize can work to get you further, you got to keep feeding that thing. So you got to feed this with money. You got to feed this with other tools. You got to feed this with relationships. You got to feed it with deals, deal flow, attention, marketing, education. You got to feed this thing, really feed yourself so that you can keep this thing moving. So you got to feed yourself. All right. Number 2, the second thing that HoldCo deal making requires is an objective. So now an objective is a resilient commitment to a standard of practices that you're unwilling to compromise. So that means once I get a vision, now I need an objective. So I have to make a resilient commitment to get from here to here. One of the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs up here, people who work jobs up here, small business owners make, one of the biggest mistakes they make is they keep starting and stopping the process. They just keep starting and stopping because they do not have a resilient commitment. They don't have a resilient commitment. They do not have a resilient commitment. Like every day I wake up, I'm so excited to wake up. And guess what? I'm excited to go to sleep at night because I can't wait to wake up the next morning. Because I have this resilient commitment to get here. I want to be free. I want to be free, y'all. We all want to be free. So I'm not doing it just to get a job or just to be a grinder or just to have a better business. I'm doing it to get freedom. So my why is different. It keeps me motivated. It keeps me going. Okay? So your objective also includes your unwillingness to get overly involved in the day-to-day operations as a business entrepreneur. So when I am resiliently committed, let me just move these out the way. When I am resiliently committed to a vision, that means I have an objective. Another way of saying this is I have a motive. Okay? So I have to have a vision. I got to know where I want to go. I got to know where I want to go, and I should have a certain dollar amount associated to where I know I want to go. Because I don't think a lot of people have a dollar amount associated to where they know they want to go. Oh, I just want to be rich. Well, how much you want to be rich? What is the certain dollar amount? Is it $1 million? Is it 10 million? Because once you put a dollar amount to this, 1 billion, I want to have at least $1 billion. Now it changes my vision and it definitely changes my commitment. So if I'm having a $100,000 problem, but I want to be a billionaire, come on, man, for real? You want to be a billionaire and you having a $100,000 problem that's finna just take you out. Come on. Like sometimes people get caught up on, I got $1,000 issue that's just keeping me in the bed for 3 days. $1,000? But what do you want? Oh, I wanted this. And what is that? Put a dollar amount to it. Oh, I want to be a millionaire. So you letting $1,000 stop you from moving towards $1 million. Shh. I wish a devil would. So your objective has a call to action. Okay? On page 10 of your workbook, you must assume a strategic and high-level role to develop specific leverage points to focus on that drive revenue and increase value. So what that means is when I get a clear vision and I know exactly where I want to go in life and how much money I want to have, I connect that vision to an objective. So now I have an objective. I do the math on what I want to accomplish, right? And then I start assuming certain roles, because when I have an objective, I don't mind being a laborer over here. I don't mind being a laborer just to get enough money so that the laborer can finance the HoldCo Dealmaker. Because I'm just trying to get enough money for the next move, because I know where I'm headed. I ain't thinking about nothing else. Do y'all see how that works? But if you don't have a vision and you try to put an objective in place, you're going to keep getting off of it every 3 months when something happens, because your objective is not supported by a big enough, clear enough, mathematically quantified vision. Okay? Number 3. I'm giving you 5 things HoldCo deal making requires. It also requires a growth philosophy. So what is a growth philosophy? A growth philosophy, listen to this, is a set of economic views and principles that guide your wealth building. See, when you have a growth philosophy, let me tell you something. You're not going to let money sit in a bank. I had to learn that. Because I promise you this. I promise you this. If you let money sit in a bank long enough, that money is going to disappear. Period. That money going to disappear. And you're going to look up one day and it's going to be zero, and you're going to be like, wait a minute, what happened to the money? I thought I put it in a safe place called the bank. But what you didn't know was this bank robber called inflation beat the brakes off that money and stole it. Just sitting there. Because every year money sits in the bank, it goes to zero. You do understand that. If you don't understand it, it's only because you have not exposed yourself to the right information to be deprogrammed of what you do believe and be reprogrammed of what you need to believe. That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why. And it's fixable, okay? Because we've all been programmed the same way. But we have to be deprogrammed. Now, I don't teach about the financial programming in this course. I do teach it in our Millionaire Blueprint. So if you do need that lesson, we've got that for you. We got it covered. But I can promise you this. If you got money sitting anywhere other than in vehicles that are moving at a certain pace based on the math that you've done, that money is going to zero. I know it is, whether you accept it or not. You might be in denial, but it's going to zero. So you need a growth philosophy. So this includes, how do you allocate capital? How do you move money around? How do you source deals? How do you integrate new ideas? How do you extract value from opportunities? And this is very hard for a lot of Christian people, because Christian people, especially traditional Christian people who have a certain theological view of God, they have a hard time having conversations with people with a motive and an intention to do deals with people. They got a hard time with that. People have a hard time with me being an apostle, a prophet, a pastor, and I'm always selling something. What? Are you for real? Do you know how hard it is to stand in a pulpit and preach to people about a God that they don't see physically, and to convince them to show up every week and to give tithes and offerings and to support and serve the church for free and spend time doing things in the community. You know how hard that is? You're selling. So for all of you church people and Christian people who got a problem with sales and money and wealth and doing deals, well, you're a part of it every week because it has to happen. We have to persuade people. Paul the Apostle talked about persuading. As a matter of fact, he almost persuaded the king. He was so smooth with them words. He knew how to stack those words together with that anointing and pull them in, even though it was for the gospel's sake. But we're talking about you still being reprogrammed to understand that you have to extract value from all opportunities, because you're not just doing it for you. You want to get to a certain place because there's certain things you want to accomplish. All right. What is your call to action with a growth philosophy? You must proactively and consistently reposition and repurpose all free cash flow, all equity, all enterprise value inside and outside of your HoldCo. So that means every time, this is where it starts getting a little sticky right here with the growth philosophy, because if you have a vision to accomplish something, and you determine that the HoldCo is the vehicle that you're going to use to accomplish that something, and then you do the math and determine how much of that you want to accomplish, and then you attach it to a resilient commitment, what happens is you develop this philosophy of growth. So you start hating losing. You start hating not succeeding. You start hating idle time. You start hating ignorance and goofiness, because you're always looking for a creative way to make something happen to get further up that road. Okay? So that's your call to action. Number 4, the fourth thing that HoldCo deal making requires is creative problem solving. Creative problem solving. I think I feel some of the brain emojis right now. Some of y'all like, man, this is a lot, bro. Hey, you need this game. Hopefully it will inspire you and wake you up and open you up to the endless possibilities that you have. So what is it? What is creative problem solving? Why does HoldCo deal making require that? Here's why. Creative problem solving is a non-emotional way of being that doesn't romanticize with people, places, or things that are tied to deals. So here's what that means. When I am a creative problem solver, I don't romanticize with owning a business. I don't romanticize with holding on to something. Just like in real estate. One of the things that I always do in real estate is I always look at a house or a property as an opportunity to flip. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. And then you have another real estate investor that looks at a property and the only thing they see is a trophy that they want to hold on to for the next 30 years. Well, I don't want to imprison my money that long, especially if I'm just not needing to do that, because I have other ways to lower my taxes and, extract depreciation or something. I don't want to just do that just to do it, just to say, oh, I got 20 houses. I don't need that, because I'm a creative problem solver and I want to be non-emotional about the things that I do. Okay? Being a creative problem solver includes being quick-witted. So you're willing to do the math real quick. You can analyze data. You can convert that data into numbers without emotional obstructions. This is what gets deal makers in trouble all the time. I see it in real estate. They buy properties that don't cash flow. They buy deals that don't cash flow. I see entrepreneurs get in businesses that don't even make any money. They own businesses that are non-profitable. Like they don't make money and they're not willing to let it go because they're romanticizing with this idea about, oh, this is my business. That ain't no business. That is a burden. That is not a business to you. It's a burden. It ain't helping you at all get where you want to go. Okay? Mr. City Lights says in the comments, good information, letting me know I'm on the right track, helping me reprogram my idea of money. So in order for you to become a creative problem solver, let me tell you something. You got to stop romanticizing with all this stuff. Stop romanticizing with money and people and real estate and things and business entities. Stop romanticizing with that stuff. Stop romanticizing. If you're going to romanticize with something, romanticize with this. What is your vision? And whatever your vision is, there's probably a big why tied to that vision. See, I want to create legacy for me, for my wife, my children. I got 5 grandchildren as of today. You know, I got 5 right now. That may change, but at least at this point in my life, I got 5. I have staff. I have a church that my wife and I pastor. We have a community of spiritual sons and daughters. We got so many people that we love. And I got siblings, my sisters and brothers, and I got nieces and nephews. I got a lot of people I want to help. And I'll be the one to tell you, just because you got $1 million or you are a millionaire don't mean you can help everybody. You just can't do it. Okay? Until you probably somewhere north of 10, 20 million, you ain't doing all this stuff you say you gonna do. So your what connects to your why, and you don't need to romanticize with all the other stuff. All right? So what is your call to action as a creative problem solver? Page 11, here's what I say. You must become obsessively optimistic about every problem you see, and you must become equally obsessively aggressive in your approach to solve any and all of those problems. So basically, when you are a creative problem solver, because you understand it's one of the requirements of a HoldCo deal maker, you run to problems. You look for problems because you know inside of that problem, there's going to be an opportunity. You see the opportunity when nobody else sees it. All right? So here is the last one of the 5 things HoldCo deal making requires. And this might be the toughest one. Financial engineering. Now, again, I want to remind all of you, if you have access to the 6-week training, there are more modules of training inside of here to teach you deeper depths of knowledge around financial engineering. Another word for financial engineering in real estate could be underwriting. So one of the things that I like to help people do better is to engineer financial activities in everything. Okay, I work on myself to become a master financial engineer every day. I'm always working to become better at looking at a piece of property, looking at a business operation, looking at an asset, and conducting financial engineering to see where are the opportunities that nobody else sees. Do y'all understand? So when you start getting into this, you start getting into that next level. And I saw it play out in real estate because that's how my wife and I first got started, right? My wife is an agent. I was the handyman Once I learned how to underwrite deals or to conduct certain financial engineering practices with deals, it opened my mind and I realized this is where all the money is. All the money is in the financial engineering. And guess what? The guys and the gals that are on Wall Street and that work for those big institutions and investment firms, guess what they do that other people don't do? That thing right here. All that other stuff is important, but they do that, and they always engineer their way to the moolah, baby. And that's what I want for all of you. And again, I'm not going to be able to go in depth, and unfortunately, me talking about financial engineering on the surface is not going to be enough to resonate with you, but at least it can help open up your mind. So what is financial engineering? It is an economic superpower that allows you, this stuff here, boy. I'm like, man, this is heavy here. This here is heavy. Financial engineering I define it as an economic superpower that allows you to repurpose money through mechanisms of multiplication, okay? Repurpose money through mechanisms of multiplication. I'm going to see if I can break this down for you to understand it on a practical level, okay? So again, the reason why financial engineering is a requirement as a deal maker, because you have to be able to learn how to repurpose the money you initially make. Okay? You have to learn to repurpose the money you initially make. So I was having a conversation with a broker the other day, and I was telling him what we do in our private equity firm and the kind of returns that we provide to our investor partners. And when I told him the percentage amount, he was like, how do you produce those types of returns? And I didn't go into detail, but because he was a real estate broker, I used the term that he was familiar with. I said, well, the way I am able to produce the type of returns for my investors, which are double-digit returns, is because of how this is what I used, underwrite deals to mitigate the risk but maximize the returns. So I used the term underwriting, but what I was really saying was I work very hard to conduct the right financial engineering to make sure that when we make a dollar, we know how to repurpose that dollar through mechanisms to turn that dollar into 5. You get what I'm saying? Like, how can I take this $1 and turn that dollar into 5? Through mechanisms of multiplication. That's how you conduct financial engineering. Okay? Do y'all understand what I'm saying? A. Harmon says, meaning equity and taxation in some cases, profit and loss, and cash flow statements. Yeah, it's a little bit of that too. It's the tax strategies. That's one way. But it's also making sure that when I make a dollar, and it's not easy to do. I've ruined this strategy many times. As a matter of fact, I'm really just within the last 6 months or so getting back to how I used to be when it came to money, where if I make a dollar, if I do something to make a dollar, I do not want to spend that dollar. It's so hard. But financial engineering as a HoldCo deal maker is about you engineering and structuring deals in a way so that when you make a dollar, you don't have to spend the dollar, you repurpose the dollar, and then when that dollar becomes two, then you can take one and get it out of there and spend it, but you never lose the one. And then that one turns into 3 or 5. And then you take one of the 2 you made and put it in another mechanism. And then you take another one and put it in another mechanism. And all of a sudden you engineer your own compound interest. Whew, boy. I hope y'all hear me. Like I told y'all, this is like next level thinking, but it's happening every day around us. Okay? So in order for you to really, this is page 12 of our workbook, but in order for you to really become a beast at financial engineering, I don't even like to use the word beast, let me say a master of financial engineering, you have to learn. You have to learn. Let me write this down again. And this is the last point I'm going to make on financial engineering. And again, if you want to learn what I know about financial engineering, if you want to understand underwriting and financial engineering the way I do in real estate, in small business, and in other assets, I'm not going to have time to get through it. Okay? This is just like a couple paragraphs on page 12 that I'm talking about it, but we have it in the playbook. You just got to pay the $97 and get access to it. Okay? So here's my last point. In order for you to become a master at financial engineering, you have to learn how money works, and you really have to learn how to work money. I mean, it's just simple as that. You have to learn how money works, and you have to learn how to work money. So, for example, when you do something to make money, you should move that money into something that allows it to work for you. So if I do something here to make $1, I cannot take that dollar and give it to expenses. I just violated that rule. Okay? I just violated that rule. I have to learn how to put deals together that can not only cover expenses, but that allows me to make $1. And when I make that dollar, I'm able to put that dollar into some mechanism of multiplication. Multiplication, right? So that the dollar creates 2. And at that point, if I need $1, I could take that dollar out for me if I wanted to, but I still have the dollar working to create another 2. Like that, game over. Game over. I'm not even going to say no more else about financial engineering. Just that alone, what I just showed you, game over. Game over. That was in page 12 of your workbook. For those of you that are just coming on, we are entering, after 2 hours and 17 minutes, we are entering session 4. This is the last session of today's workshop. I've already said it 2 or 3 times, and I'm going to stop and say it again here before I read a few comments and answer a few questions if you have. The VIP option for you to get this 6-week training is available inside the description. There's a link for $97. Just learning that alone to become a master financial engineer or underwriting deals creatively is enough to change your life. It's enough to change your life. So it's all up to you. After the workshop, that $97 offer is over. It ends, okay? So let's see here. Complete Indifference says, good afternoon, soul people. Good afternoon to you. If y'all have any questions, what do y'all think about that last segment we just did on the 5 things HoldCo deal making requires? How did y'all feel about that financial engineering? Was I right a little bit when I told you it was going to be a little rough? It's heavy stuff. Give me some feedback on that. James says, this is a lot, but it is so good and so necessary. I'm truly looking forward to the 6 weeks course to soak more of it in. Yes. So in the 6-week course, I go deeper into the financial engineering. I go real deep. And we do exercises so that you can build the muscle to learn how to see it the way we see it as underwriters and financial engineers, whether it's real estate or whether it's businesses. And it doesn't even have to be a piece of real estate or a business. It could just be an asset. It could just be an asset. So for example, no, I'm not even going to use that. I'm going to use this. This here is an asset. If you look at this asset as a financial engineer, you start peeling back the layers of this asset to determine where is the cash flow? Where is the equity? Where is the opportunity? Where is the deal? And you start putting pieces together to determine where the opportunity, the deal, the cash flow, the equity, and all that stuff is. And then once you put these deals together, you extract money from that deal and you put that money into mechanisms of multiplication so that you never lose the dollar you made from the deal. That's another level. Game over. Mic drop. Okay? A. Harmon says, game over. God is in the business of multiplication. Excellent concepts. They not teaching this nowhere. Brother Mike, bruh man said, truth be told. So I urge all of you, before I end today's workshop, which we're on session 4, if you do not have access to our HoldCo Dealmakers bundle that we put together specifically for those of you who want to take advantage of an opportunity to learn about becoming a HoldCo Dealmaker, learning how to make money using your holding company, it's a $97 offer. It's $97 for a 6-week course, a free ticket to our upcoming mastermind where we will deep dive into some of these sophisticated concepts. You get a one-on-one strategy call. So that means we are going to schedule a call to answer any questions you have and to make sure that you understand what's happening. You get a $97 credit because maybe within these 6 weeks, you do so well and you learn so much that you want to join our coaching program, which is a 1-year program with way more information because we teach you how to engineer not just deals, but engineer $1 million enterprises. I've done it for myself and I've done it for others, so I know it works. And then we also give you access to the digital workbook. Brent said, I just joined. Congratulations, my friend, because when this workshop ends, that $97 goes away. And I'm not going to be offering that because we have people who are investors with us in our private equity firm and coaching clients that have paid tens of thousands of dollars to be coached by me and my team. This is what we're using to show them how to put deals together. So I'm definitely not going to just leave it open. I wanted to do it for today. All right. So Our last session of today is going to be on creative HoldCo deal maker strategies. I'm going to share with you a few creative HoldCo deal maker strategies. I'm going to show you some strategies that you can use to put deals together if you really want to put deals together. And by the way, my team and I, we want to make ourselves available. We want to help you. We want to go beyond just a workshop or a 6-week course or a coaching program. We have an entire private equity firm that we provide advisory services. We help investors make double-digit returns. We work with individuals who need to self-direct their IRAs. We already have all of the people in place to help you do all of that. Whether it's you want to create a self-directed IRA so that you don't have your money locked up in a 401k, we can help you do that. We have custodians that we work with. We have a HoldCo Dealmakers Club, but this is an exclusive club. It's private. There's no dollar amount somebody can pay to get in it. Your deal making and your partnership gets you in that club, and it's by invitation because of your partnership only. So if you have questions about our Dealmakers Club, if you want to partner with us, if you want to do deals with us, whether it's a partnership with a business that you have or with a business that you want to buy, all you have to do is send us the deal information to invest. Let me give you the email because I'm not going to give this too many times. invest@rpcapitalfirm.com. Now, one of the reasons why I'm bringing this up before we get to our last session is because I have already received a few requests. I don't know if they're on here watching live, but I did receive a few requests from a couple people who wanted to know, how do we send you deals if we want to do a deal with you, if we want to partner with you, if we want to sell our business, or we know someone who wants to sell a business. If you want to do a deal with us, of course, you're going to get compensated some kind of way. Just send us the deal or the information of the deal to invest@rpcapitalfirm.com. Okay, I'm going to give you a minute to screenshot that, to write it down. That's only if you have interest in becoming a private member of our HoldCo Dealmakers Club. Again, in order for you to be in that club, you have to either be an investor with our private equity firm, rpcapitalfirm.com. You could go there and see what we're doing as a private equity firm, or you have to be a business partner. That means we've created a strategic partnership with your business, or we're doing business with another business you brought us. Either way, if you put a deal together that we are a part of, you get access to our Dealmakers Club. It's a private club, and guess what? You got my team and I backing you on whatever it is that you're doing. Okay? All right, let's get to our last session of today. If you have any questions, put the questions in the comments. The last session is on HoldCo Dealmaker strategies. Whew, man, I got so many strategies. I don't even know if I can get through all these strategies. Whew. I don't even know if I can get through all of them. I know I got time. It's 2:30. I said it's from 12 to 4. But Lord, have mercy. I think I have about 8 strategies. These are like my top strategies. Okay? Let me get through them. Number 1, let me see if I can get through all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is page 14 of your workbook. the last session, creative HoldCo Dealmaker strategy. So we have the market strategy, let me see if I can write them all down and then I'll talk through them, okay? Short-term lending strategy. We have the real estate strategy. We have the rev share strategy. We have the equity ownership strategy. We have, I missed one, the exit strategy. We have the equity consulting strategy. And then we have, I stole this one from somebody else, the plug and profit strategy. I stole that wording from somebody. I saw it and I was like, yeah, that's a better way to explain it than what I had in mind. So right here, ladies and gentlemen, is our last session for today. And I'm going to go through these 8 strategies. I consider these to be like the top 8 strategies for creative HoldCo deal makers. So if you're looking for a way to put a deal together, use one of these strategies. And it could be you working with us. Maybe you have something that you're like, man, I want to partner with you. Well, we can do a deal with one of these strategies. Okay? So let's go through it. The market strategy. What is the market strategy? The market strategy allows you to acquire stocks or shares in public companies that trade in the market. So we're talking about the stock market. I'm not a stock market trader. I don't own any stocks. I'm more of a private equity, not public equity. So I don't have any like information I could give you other than, yeah, that's a strategy. I know people who do it. I know people who are invested in the stock market. I'm not, because I invest not in public companies that trade in the market. I invest in private companies, and I have my biases and my reasons why. One is, when you invest in the stock market, you're investing in a product that a Wall Street firm created to sell you. It's a product. They structure these vehicles for you to invest in and for millions of other people to invest in. It's not a private equity company. And most of the times you're not getting like substantial returns like you would if you invested in a private equity deal. Okay, so that's just my opinion, and I'm gonna stick with what I know works for me. This can be executed independently through an online brokerage or indirectly through an actual broker. There are some things to consider when using the market strategy. Number one, volatility. It's volatile. You got to know what you're doing, and you got to know people who know what they're doing, but it's still kind of gamblish. Okay. Another thing to consider, brokers may charge higher fees for their services. Online platforms may increase your overall risk if you lack the knowledge and experience. Average returns historically range from 6 to 8% over long periods of time. And this is not just stuff I'm Googling. I know people who are invested in the stock market, who work with stock brokers and financial advisors and people who are tied to Wall Street. And they all say the same thing, at least the ones who are honest. they all say the same thing, that if you are in private equity, if you are more of a grassroots investor, or if you're connected to people who are in private equity or in grassroots investing, you're going to always get a higher return, even though there may be risk. But guess what? It's risk in the stock market. Duh. With lower returns. It is what it is. All right. The second strategy is a short-term lending strategy. So as I mentioned earlier, we offer short-term lending. So we lend money to businesses on a short term. It's higher interest because most small businesses don't have the credit or the ability to get a traditional loan. But this is a great way to take extra money that you have in your business and lend it out on a short-term basis to other businesses. It could be transactional lending in real estate. It could be private money lending. It could be hard money lending. There are different forms of short-term lending, but this strategy allows you to generate immediate returns through B2B lending. Okay, so business to business lending. Short-term lending is typically 6 months or less with an average term of 3 months. So it's not like we're lending people money for 5 years, okay? The interest rates are higher with respect to usury laws, and the terms are shorter because most small businesses that need a $5,000 loan or $8,000 loan or a $10,000 loan, they don't have a whole lot of collateral and a lot of credit to get a $100,000 loan. Okay, it just don't work like that. Okay, short-term lending is preferably B2B and collateral lending because it allows you to control assets or certain aspects of the business. So when you are conducting short-term lending, or when you're looking to get short-term lending, you always have to think about the term, what the interest rate is, what the length of the loan is, and you have to have some type of collateral. You got to think about what type of collateral do you have? What should you consider? What are some things that you should be considering with short-term lending? Well, you should consider the same things that you would consider with any other type of lending. You want to consider the risks that are associated to giving people money and a business goes bankrupt next week. Giving people money and they disappear. And now you got to go sue them for that $5,000, whatever. You know what I mean? That's why you want to have some type of collateral. All right. The third strategy is the real estate strategy. Of course, that's one of my favorites because my wife and I have been in real estate for a long time. But again, I just want to show y'all something. I'm not talking down on market strategy investing where you invest in the stock market. I'm not talking down on that, but I'm just showing you when you have a buffet of options that you can use as a deal maker, you don't always have to just go with one. You can diversify it in a creative way that mitigates your risk so that you could get some today money and some tomorrow money. And it may be some long-term wealth investing that you're doing. But a lot of times when you do one thing, thinking that this one thing is going to pay the bills today, give you wealth tomorrow, that's when you find yourself in trouble, okay? So the real estate strategy allows you to acquire, fix and flip, or buy and hold properties. Oh, which by the way, I forgot to say that, I knew it was something I forgot. I forgot to say that with the short-term lending strategy, your returns can historically range from 25 to 50% over a short period of time. So you can make some really big returns. You can make some really big returns when you are when you are doing short-term lending. You can make a lot of money, but it's a lot of risk involved, okay? So the real estate strategy allows you to acquire fix and flip properties or buy and hold properties. You can also become a strategic partner in a property acquisition portfolio that allows you to buy in on the existing cash flow. So for example, I have a real estate acquisitions company where we buy fix and flips, right? I also have a buy and hold company. So you could actually invest in a fix and flip company or a buy and hold company or both. So you don't always have to be the one doing the fixing and flipping, or you could be a private money lender on a deal without even owning any entity equity. So there are so many different ways when it comes to real estate. Number four, the fourth strategy is what we call the revenue share strategy. It's the rev share. I mentioned that earlier. I did rev share deals before and didn't even know they was rev share deals. So a revenue share deal is a strategy that allows you to acquire a share of the revenue through an agreement. So you're not acquiring equity, you're just acquiring a portion of the revenue. So all you're doing is getting a piece of the money through a revenue share agreement, not ownership of the company. Okay. And for those of you that want to do these deals, it could be on either end of the spectrum. You can offer a rev share to somebody, or somebody can offer a rev share to you. All of these can be both ways. Okay. Doesn't have to be you the one giving it away. It could be somebody else. Okay. This agreement can be based on the gross revenue, similar to a royalty, or based on the net revenue, similar to equity ownership. So when you're doing rev share deals, like any deal, you have to decide what that agreement looks like. And of course, if you don't know what that agreement should look like, you need to have really good advisors and people that you could talk to before you start signing contracts and, getting stuff notarized and you don't know what you're getting into. Okay, so that's 4 of the 8. Everybody understand what we covered so far? Anybody have any questions on the first 4? Let's get to the last 4. The equity ownership strategy. This strategy allows you to acquire an ownership interest in a business through a full acquisition or a strategic partnership. So when we talk about equity ownership, we're basically saying that, okay, you own 100% of the business and you want me to partner with you or to join forces with you, and you're willing to give me 50% ownership of your LLC or 25% or whatever the percentage is. Okay. Maybe it's a new entity we structure with your business and with my value, and that new entity is 50-50 or 70-30 or 60-40, but it's still someone owning equity in a business. And I would highly encourage all of you business entrepreneurs to start considering selling portions of your equity in the businesses that you own. That's why you should be a HoldCo owner and Dealmaker, because you own the HoldCo, but all the other businesses, you're willing to sell them and exit them or sell portions of them so that you can have people to help you grow and get where you're going. I mean, it's crazy, y'all. Let me just stop there for a minute, because it's really, really crazy for somebody to literally own a business that may have a really good product, to own a business that may have a really good service, and the business is not making enough money to pay you and to really grow. And instead of, you can't hire nobody, so you can't hire. You don't have the ability to hire help. Like, think about it. It's really crazy when you start thinking like a HoldCo Dealmaker. So you have this business, you got a really good product or products, you have a decent service or a couple services, you can't hire nobody, you can't grow, you can't make enough money, and you own 100% of this business, and you're not willing to give up a portion of that equity to get somebody to come in and help you that will allow you to grow, hire, make money, come on. Like, we got to start thinking like that. Because if you look at business owners in the tech world, they do it all the time. Jeff Bezos, I think he only owns what, like 20%? It might have changed. He might have sold more. Let me see if I can pull it up. How much of Amazon does Jeff Bezos own? Oh my God. Look, it says Bezos owns about 8.8% of Amazon. He keeps selling it off. Now you might say, oh, it's $1 billion company or $1 trillion company. It wasn't always $1 trillion company. Matter of fact, if you read the story of Jeff Bezos when he first started it, he was giving away portions of equity, I think, for like $20,000 investments or some dollar amount. And I think his parents were two of the main people. A lot of people said no to him, but everybody who said yes, think about how their life is. So he only owns 8.8% of Amazon. That means everybody else owns 92.2% of Amazon. He don't care because guess what? Selling off equity allowed him to grow, hire, make money, take care of himself, get fit and buff, and sit on a couple 100-foot yacht and chill. You need to think the same way. All you do is just Google some of the wealthiest business entrepreneurs and CEOs and business owners in the world, and here's what you're going to find out. None of them own 100% of any of these businesses. None of them. It be us, small-minded, small-thinking, small operators who own 100% of nothing, and we ain't willing to give anything up. It's crazy, y'all. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I encourage all of y'all to really, 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 really think about doing it with your businesses. Do it with yours. You should be sold on that. I teach that in one of our modules as well. You should be doing that all day, every day. You should be doing that all day, every day. You own 100% of a business that has a product, got a service. It ain't growing. It ain't making money. You can't hire nobody. You stress. You sick of it. And all you got to do is say, you know what? I'm gonna find a Ramon Preston, or I'm gonna find another investor and see if they are willing to take a look at what I have in terms of assets, and is this something that they want to partner on and get a portion of equity on. You should be doing that every day. Matter of fact, when you look at shows like Shark Tank, people set their whole businesses up just to pitch it to investors to give them equity ownership. As I said, when you get into the tech world, when you get into like the technology world, they understand that we start a business, we create this concept, this app, this thing, and then we go pitch it to investors to raise money for them to own like 90% of it, and all we're going to own is 10% of it, but they're going to help us turn it into $1 billion company, and we're going to come out with 100 million. Like, that's the game, y'all. We should all be doing that, especially those of us in the Black community. We should be doing that more and more and more. We will get so further quicker, and we just ain't doing it. Okay? So that's equity ownership. The next one, number 6, is the exit strategy. So the exit strategy is what I just kind of talked about, because it allows you to sell all or portions of your business while offering cash flow and equity opportunities to investors. So I don't care if your business only makes $500 a month. Well, you can still exit and give somebody a portion of that 500. Hey, you want to make $250 a month of the 5 and buy 50% of my business? Like, you got to think like a deal maker, not as a prisoner of a business. Okay? That's the exit strategy. I got 2 more. The equity consulting, that's a little more high level because most people, they don't want to pay for consulting. And most people, if they don't want to pay for consulting, they definitely don't want to give you equity for your consulting. At least most people in certain communities. But I know a lot of people who do it, and they're willing to do it, because I can tell you right now, I know some people that if they said to me, Ramon, if you give me a certain portion of your business, I will provide consulting for you as long as you need it, for whatever you need to help you grow. I'd be like, I'm sending the paperwork over now. Certain people, just because of their expertise, just because of what they know. Because it could just be one conversation I have and one tweak they help me make. It's a wrap. It could just be one thing. It could just be them helping me put together a landing page that changes my life. It could just be them getting me in front of a certain audience to explain what I offer, and everybody in the room buys it. That could change my life. You have to start thinking like that if you're going to be a HoldCo deal maker and if you're going to succeed in today's market. And then we have the plug and profit strategy. This strategy allows you to facilitate partnerships, integrations, or assignments between businesses. So basically, when we talk about plug and play, here's what it means. You might know 2 people who are in business and both of them need something the other person has. So this person has a store, a physical store, right? This person has a physical store, and this person has a product, and this person with the store is looking for this product, and this person with this product is looking for a store. So there's a integration that can happen, and you can be the person in the middle to get paid for that plug and play interaction. That's an amazing strategy. And we should all be doing this as deal makers. So listen, it's 10 minutes to 3. I have completed this workbook. It's been almost 3 hours that I've sat here, stood, and have gone over 4 main sessions that I believe can change the trajectory of your life if you make the decision to become a HoldCo deal maker. I would love to get some feedback from those of you that are still watching. I definitely want to say thank you all. If you lasted the whole 3 hours, thank you. Congratulations to you. I'm used to standing up, doing workshops and one-day deep dives for hours. So 3 to 4 hours is not that long to me. My team and I, we're used to conducting and hosting in-person events that are 7, 8, 9, sometimes 10 hours long when you add the time we have to put in before and after the events. And so I enjoy every opportunity I get to educate my people and to expose you to information that can literally change the trajectory of your life. So for a few minutes, while we still do have some time, I would love to get some feedback from you. Maybe there are a few big takeaways that you got today. And also, I would just love to know in the chat from some of you, what is the next step that you're going to take? Like, what do you plan on doing after today? What is the next step? What are you doing? Do you have a HoldCo? Okay? So let me ask that question. HoldCo. And let's see, subsidiaries. So that's a good question. A. Harmon said, thank you, Coach. Excellent learn. I look forward to learning more. Brent C. said, we'll be jumping into the workbook. Excellent seminar. So for those of you that are watching live, I would love to know how many of you already have your HoldCo set up? Do you already have your holding company LLC set up? And if you do, how many, if any, subsidiaries do you have under it? Put it in the comment. Let me know how many of y'all have your holding company. And if you do have your holding company, how many subsidiaries do you have already? Matthew said, I want to partner with our Preston University, give 5 members the HoldCo Dealmakers Playbook VIP training. When does the 6 weeks start? It starts when you get access. So if you start today, that 6-week window is going to start. My team and I, we're going to track it. But as I said, we're ending the offer today. So after today, no one will have access to it for the $97. So everybody that's on it or have joined it within the last week or so since we've advertised it, they've already started. So if you start today or this week, if you buy it today, you'll have access to the modules because you can't open up all the modules. They open up every week for 6 weeks, no matter when you start, but it's not going to be available 6 weeks from now to somebody in the general public unless they're in our coaching program or if they are investors with us. Okay. Mr. City Light says, I do have a holding company. Brent C says, no HoldCo yet, but will definitely by end of year. Okay, awesome. Congratulations, Mr. City Lights. That's awesome. Let's see here. Space Go said, this 3 hours was a roller coaster ride of exciting, visionary intangibles. Hey, man, I got energy for days. I just realized I ran out of content because I try not to overwhelm everyone with too much. So I did pull out at least the 4 main sessions that I knew would be very valuable to everyone today for a free workshop. A. Harmon says, I do have a HoldCo. Okay, good. I have one under my holding company, and I'm thinking of starting a t-shirt line with a friend. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a good thing. Okay, anybody have any questions before we go? I said it was going to be 4 hours, but I guess I don't need the other hour. I'm done. So I'm just making myself available for a few moments to answer any questions that you might have. Let's see here. I want to start both holding and subsidiaries this 6 weeks from scratch and a holding under nonprofit with you guys. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, I just want to remind you, I want to remind all of you that the HoldCo Dealmakers training, I'm not teaching you how to start and structure a holding company. I have a whole nother program for that. Some of you might already have access to it. So we have a whole nother program. So if you need to learn how to start a holding company, how to structure it, how to file your EIN and your articles and your operating agreements, and how to make sure that your subsidiaries are properly owned by your HoldCo, we have an entire program for that. It's not in this. This program is really to show you how to take an existing HoldCo, or at least the concept as an individual, and do deals. But if you need those other pieces of information, we have those programs, we have those courses, and we make ourselves available to help you anytime you purchase anything from us, whether it's a course like this, whether it's our coaching or some one-time purchase you make. We always do our best to make ourselves available. Brent C says, have a great rest of the weekend, and it's time to get to work. That's right, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you, too. Let's see here. James Bethea, I've been the whole time, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to participate in this workshop. I appreciate your willingness to share your knowledge and experience with us. DL says, I'm driving for work. I can't comment how I want. Okay, well, I appreciate you at least being on. And any of you that are watching me live, it is 2:58. It's almost 3 o'clock. We're an hour early than I thought we would be. If you want access to our 6-week HoldCo Dealmakers training, this entire workbook is included. A mastermind that we're going to host within this 6 weeks is included. You get a $97 credit. So if at any time in the future you want to purchase another program or course, we'll give you that 97 credit. You also get the 6-week training, 6-week client support, and you get a one-on-one deal maker strategy call. So please take advantage of this. In the description of this video, there's a link, $97. This offer is going once, going twice, going 3 times. It will not be available. So I apologize if you call Monday and say, yeah, I didn't click the link and purchase it for $97, and now it's saying it's $497, or we don't even see it on your platform. Can we buy it? It's not available. Okay, so I appreciate you all. Thank you all for joining us. If I missed any question that you have, please take the contact information in the description. You can text us the question with the 2 numbers you see in the description. You can email us the question. You can call us with the question. We want to answer your questions, and we want to make sure that you get where you need to go. Let's see here. James says, don't have my HoldCo yet, but will be setting it up at my first opportunities. That's awesome, man. A. Harmon, what is the main difference in setting up for the HoldCo with state and feds than a regular LLC or S Corp? There is no difference. There's no difference. The only thing you're going to do when you're setting up, I'll give you a quick tutorial outside of the HoldCo program. There's no difference. I always recommend set your holding company or any company up using an LLC. Okay? You don't need a S Corp or a C Corp. Remember, if you have an LLC, or maybe you don't remember, but let me tell you, if you got an LLC, when you go to your tax person to do your taxes every year, the tax person will determine, based on your revenue and your taxable net profits, they will determine if your LLC needs to be treated as an S Corp or C Corp or disregarded entity or partnership for tax purposes. They're going to help you determine that. So you don't have to literally have an S Corp or a C Corp. You have an LLC. Now, back to the question, what is the main difference in setting it up? When you get your EIN number with the IRS, that's a federal employer identification number. So you're going to set up your LLC with the IRS through your SS4 form, and you are going to, there's not going to be a designation for a holding company. So they're going to ask you what category or industry is this LLC going to be in? If it's your holding company, you check other. And then there's going to be a line where they ask you to specify this. And this is where you can just put holding company. Okay? I'm giving you free game right now. because this is actually in my holding company course and startup kit. I walk you through each step on how to start and structure your holding company, what language you need to use when you obtain your EIN, what language you need to use when you get your articles with the Secretary of State, how you draft your operating agreement. All that stuff is important when you have a multi-entity enterprise like a HoldCo with subsidiaries. All of these entities need their own EIN. They need their own articles of organizations. They all need their own operating agreements. And depending on what state you're in with the Secretary of State, that is going to determine how you sign on behalf of these subsidiaries for your HoldCo. That's important. All right? So it ain't just like breezy if you don't know what you're doing. It's important. So instead of you spending thousands of dollars with attorneys or LegalZoom, you can always just take advantage of our holding company course and startup kit. All right, I'm through selling you stuff. My day is over with. Appreciate you all. Thank you for joining. Please make sure that you follow us, subscribe to our YouTube page, all social media platforms at Ramon Preston. And we look forward to seeing you. If you're a part of this VIP option, we look forward to seeing you when we schedule our mastermind. That will be a private link we will send to you and keep you updated on what date we're going to schedule that. And we look forward to talking with you during your free strategy call. Thank you all. Have an amazing rest of the day. And I'll talk with y'all on the next round. Peace.